everyone, Brenda Earl-Stokes, owner and creator of Piano and Voice with Brenda, creative and practical resources for pianists, vocalists, and music educators. So it's Monday again, time for another Motivation Monday, and this week I'm calling Motivation Monday the Tell People. Tell people. And this is once again, as many of these like little studio talks are coming from my own life. And the importance of tell people has come up a couple of times in the past few weeks. And I kind of wanted to share with you because I think it's something that is often overlooked or is something that we don't want to do. So telling people what we're doing is a good idea. And let me give you the most recent example. One of my college students who's been taking private piano and voice lessons with me for quite a few semesters was telling me several weeks ago that she missed out on her opportunity to do a bunch of internships because of the pandemic. And, you know, she's getting ready to graduate in 6 weeks, and she was panicking because she hasn't really had any work experience. And I said to her, okay, well, what do you do? Because I knew she was like a communications something or other. I don't really understand what it is. And so she explained to me that she's in social media marketing. I asked her more questions about what she was doing. And I said, well, I need someone to do that for me. And so I hired her as a paid intern, and she did a bunch of work for me. I stopped calling her an intern after a while and called her an assistant. And I think she's done about 50 hours of work for me over the last month and a half, doing some really productive things for me. And recently, very recently, last week, another one of my former students who's just finishing her second year of university, she studied with me all through high school, reached out to me sort of along the same lines where she said, do you have any leads on an internship? I can't get an internship because of the pandemic. And when I asked her, some more questions about what she was doing, I realized that she's an expert proofreader. She's an English major and has a very, very high level of capacity with the written word. And so I've hired her this summer to do a deep edit of all of the course books. And so I'm telling you this because I think in both cases, it would have been very easy for this information not to come across. Like how would I know what my students are doing or what they're capable of doing? You have to tell someone. And I look out into the world of young people who are getting ready to graduate from high school or are graduating from college, or people who are finishing graduate school or are trying to break into different fields. A lot of times, especially now in the pandemic where it's hard to connect with people, I think it's really, really important to be reaching out to your network and tell people what you're doing. Even if you're not completely sure what it is, like in the case of Ella, my college student, it wasn't really clear at first how we were going to make a connection as far as her working and what I needed. But it's really important that you tell people. And so by telling me, explaining to me what she did, I was able to get a sense of like, oh, I know how we could, make this mutually beneficial. And I see a lot of people who don't necessarily put it out there, what it is they're trying to do. So whether that's a creative endeavor, if you're working on, writing for string quartet, or you want to learn, improve your sight reading, or you want to improve your piano playing, or, whatever it is that you're trying to do. Or if it's from a business point of view, if you're trying to get to someplace in your career, or if you have some goals that you're trying to do, I think it's really, really important to make sure that you're telling people what you're doing. Now, you don't want to just tell everybody, that's don't tell everyone on earth. And I would even advise against just putting it on social media. I think it's important to reach out to the people in your network, especially people who have an interest in you or who care about you. Teachers, former teachers are a great place to go, or other people you've worked for, or people in your family network who may have some kind of connection. And tell them about what it is that you're trying to do. And that can come with an ask of saying, can I have your help? But even just to share that information and see what people offer back at you. And if you're not in that position where you're trying to change things up, maybe you're an adult person who's pretty established in what you're doing and you're trying something new. It's also, I think, important to tell people what you're working on. as a form of accountability. And that's a way that that you can tell someone that I'm learning jazz piano right now, and I'm taking voice lessons right now, or I'm taking a watercolor class, or I'm trying to read this really challenging book in French. I mean, whatever your thing is. Telling people around you what you're doing is a great way for people to be able to check in with you. It's also just a way of accountability. I feel like a lot of times when I say something out loud to people who I know care about me or that I care about, when I say things out loud to them, I know that that's a way of making it real. And so when I first started my online courses a couple of years ago, it was a similar thing. I had this crazy, wacky idea that I was going to start these online courses with no background or experience in any of this. And, I told a few people in my inner circle that I was working on this, and I ran the idea past a couple of people professionally, some other voice teachers that I knew. I told my voice teacher. I told a couple of close friends that this was an idea that I had. And not only did I get some really nice feedback and support of people saying, I think this is a great idea, or you should check out so-and-so's work because it might help you get some ideas. It was also just nice whenever I connected with those people for them to be able to say, oh, how's that going? How's that coming along? Because I felt like it was really helpful for accountability. So that was my little 7-minute treatise today on telling people. But it's something for you to think about, especially with these projects that you've been really wanting to do, or if you're in a place where you're feeling kind of scared because there's a big change coming, especially for I have so many college students this year that are getting ready to graduate. This is a really great time for you to reach out and tell people what you're working on. And you'll find that there's a lot of people out there who are excited about that journey, and it brings memories back from them from when they did that. And you may find some help in some interesting places. Anyways, I hope this was really helpful information for you today. What I want to tell you about is that my new online course, Crash Course in Solfege, the bundle, is being released next week. And I hope you'll stay tuned for more details on that. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for watching.